Stories are the tales we make up to get us out of a bind. My name is Osademebi, and every week I will tell you a short story written by a Nigerian writer or author. That's the long and short of it. So without much ado, this week's story is by Ugomma Okorougo, and it's titled The Twin. How will I enter this Naija store that I promised myself never to set foot in again? Ijeoma was lost in thought. The last time she went to Everlasting Foods to buy some spices and snacks for her children, she was uncomfortable with the way the owner, Mr. Onari, had leered at her as she shopped. Paying with contactless at the checkout had not deterred him from deliberately brushing his fingers against hers as she tapped her card on the machine. Just thinking about it made her squeeze her face in disgust and gag. Nyama. True to her word, she had never set foot in Everlasting since that day. Instead, she always found a way to get her unsuspecting husband to swing by the store whenever she needed something for the house. A year had passed, and here she was in need of Tom-Tom for the useless cough which had bothered her and her daughter for the last 2 days. Her daughter had been off school because of it, and she was fed up with hacking her way through conversations on work Zoom calls. Her husband was not available to bail her out, and no, she was not in the mood for any other mental sweet. She had just been to Target, and she was not inspired by any of the ones she walked past. Ijeoma sat in the family suburban SUV for the longest time, arguing with herself. She hissed angrily. Kai! How do I do this now? Now wow. What's wrong, Mommy? Amarachi asked from the passenger seat without looking up from the episode of Scooby-Doo she was watching on Ijeoma's phone. Nothing, Wam, she replied. Nothing, my daughter. Suddenly, a mischievous thought floated into her mind, and she grabbed hold of it and fired up the car engine. She quickly drove to the Nigerian store which was down the road from Target. Ah, madam, how are you there now? I sent you many text messages, but you didn't reply. Now, wow, Mr. Onari said with a wide smile across his wrinkled and grey-haired face as soon as Ijeoma and Amarachi walked into the store. Ijeoma glanced back at the store entrance, knowing fully well no one was behind her. Then she faced Mr. Onari with a blank stare on her face, and cocking her head to the right, asked, Are you talking to me? Mr. Onari was taken aback. You are Madam Ijeoma, no? He said after a slight pause. Madam Ijeoma, Ijeoma replied, feigning confusion. Oh my, I get that a lot. You must be referring to my twin, Ijeoma. My name is Ijeoma. People always get us mixed up. The confused look on Mr. Onari's face nearly made Ijeoma burst out laughing, but she stifled it and was grateful for the timely tickle in her throat, which she took full advantage of and let out a series of duly amplified coughs instead. You mean Madam Ijeoma is a twin? An identical one for that matter. Wow. And the two of you decided to have the same hairstyle. Now, wow, God is wonderful, Mr. Onari said. Yes, indeed. God is wonderful. You'll excuse me, Ijeoma replied, coughing, as she steered Amarachi towards the aisles with the items she needed. She grinned as soon as her back was turned. "It's working," she thought to herself as she picked up 2 bags of Tum-Tum and some biscuits and silently prayed the ruse would hold out till she left the store. Mr. Onari was staring at Ijeoma with a puzzled expression as she approached the counter and offloaded her shopping. He noticed Amarachi as he was scanning the items, and recognition lit up his face as he asked, "Even una pikin look alike?" Ijeoma quickly replied, "Oh, no. That is Ijeoma's daughter." "Eh, I know say I recognize him." Mr. Onari beamed. "Dear Lord Jesus, a few more minutes, please." Ijeoma prayed silently as she paid for the items, threw them in her bag, and hurried out of the store with Amarachi in tow. Mr. Onari may have said something in her wake, but he may as well have been talking to himself because in no time, Ijeoma was in her car, racing out of the parking lot like a SWAT team was in pursuit. "Ije, baby, you be real weary," she cackled. "Original actress. Kai!" Ijeoma made another promise to herself. When her husband wasn't available to shop at Everlasting, Ijenna would emerge, preferably without Amarachi in tow, lest "Mommy" falls out of her mouth by accident. Ugomma is a follower of Christ, a medical doctor turned medical educator, a wife and a mom to 4 bundles of blessings. She enjoys singing, dancing, and convening women for their collective growth and development. You can connect with her on Instagram at Dr. Ugo93. If you've got a story you would like to be featured on this podcast, or a published book you want to make into an audiobook, send me a DM on Facebook or Instagram at Osadunibi. I look forward to collaborating with you. And if you've enjoyed this week's episode, tell a friend that stories are a good escape for a few minutes each week.